Now back to Inside West Virginia Politics with Mark Curtis.
The charter schools are a definite concern for us. It takes money away from public education and gives it to just a few. If we're going to be willing to put more money into West Virginia students' education, then we need to do that with the school that we have now.
I'm calling the legislators. I'm calling them to pass my pay raise bill.
And welcome back to our final segment this week on Inside West Virginia Politics. Let's wrap up our discussion about education reform in West Virginia. Joining us right now is Delegate Paul Espinosa. He is the majority whip here at the Capitol in Charleston and former chairman of the Education Committee. Your thoughts on what happened on the defeat, essentially killing the Senate 451, the education reform bill this week?
Well, certainly a disappointment. I think if you look at the number of very positive provisions for our traditional public education system, somewhere in excess of $30 additional million in funding for our traditional public school districts. I know in Jefferson County, the district that I represent, Jefferson County would have received $2.3 million in additional funding, in addition to more than $24 million statewide for counselors. There were incentives in there to help fill some of the critical need areas, such as our math positions that unfortunately, we're continuing to see go unfilled. Sadly, I think, the provisions that would have provided a very modest level of school choice caused some folks to forego what I think just would have been a tremendous benefit for traditional public education in West Virginia.
In hindsight, should all of these bills have been voted upon separately? I don't find anybody that opposes the $24 million for additional school counselors and social workers. I don't find anybody that opposes that. But should that be bundled in with things that many consider poison pills, like charter school or education savings account? I mean, that counselor bill would have passed probably unanimously.
Well, the idea of a comprehensive education reform is nothing new. My first year in the legislature in 2013, then Governor Tumlin put forth a massive comprehensive education reform bill that passed with bipartisan support. A year later, had comprehensive reform. Just a couple years ago, we did the comprehensive bill that transitioned away from recess and addressed it our school calendars. So I don't think the concept of comprehensive reform is really a foreign concept. I think if you look at some of the different provisions, some of the provisions would have benefited growth counties, such as the Eastern Panhandle that I represent. Other provisions would have safeguarded some of the districts that are declining in enrollment by guaranteeing that they would be funding at a minimum 1,400 student level. I think those things are often easier to accomplish when they are packaged together so that there's something there for everyone. Again, I think the fixation over some very, very modest education reform proposals that in the case of public charter schools, 44 states in the District of Columbia currently offer that. I'm disappointed that it was as controversial as it ended up being. As a result, we've lost a lot of positive funding for public education.
Did the Senate make a mistake in not just passing? You had a bipartisan bill that passed the House. 13 Democrats voted for it, and the only thing of any controversy really were 2 pilot schools that would have been charter schools. And I think a lot of people said, well, let's look at how those perform, and then maybe we can expand it down the road. The Senate added 5 more, and education savings accounts that had died when it came back to the House. Did they make a mistake by tinkering with something that passed?
Well, I think the concern, I think among many of us in the House and of the Senate is that provision to allow 2 existing conversion charter schools was virtually meaningless. As a matter of fact, the AFT in a bulletin to their members after passage of that legislation basically explained to their members, this provision's meaningless. Don't worry about it. These schools will never happen. And I think the Senate saw through that provision and wanted to provide a meaningful option for parents, students, and communities, just as 44 states in the District of Columbia currently have.
I'm going to put you on the spot because we only have about 10 seconds left.
Right.
Will the clean bill to raise teacher pay and all state employee pay pass this legislature this year, do you think?
Well, I think it's definitely going to pass the House. It'll go over to the Senate. I would anticipate that we will move forward with that pay raise.
Delegate Paul Espinosa, the Majority Whip, former chairman of Education and House from Jefferson County. Thanks for being with us this week.
Always appreciate the opportunity.
And we thank you for joining us this week on Inside West Virginia Politics. We'll be back here next Sunday.